Hi everybody, welcome to South Olympic Branch update number 39. Let me show you what I've been up to. Time for more scenery. Got to fill in this bit between the river and the food plant. And now I went back and dumped a little more coarse ground foam on this piece right here. And we'll see how that looks when it dries, but I think it'll probably be pretty good. Pretty happy with that. I think I'm going to put in some more ground foam up here before the night is out. Stuff out of the way here. Different color mix here. Not really worried about spilling it down the slope because when the glue comes in and it runs down there, it should just glue this stuff in place anyway. And it really can't hurt, as far as I've ever been able to tell, to have another layer on it. And I'll come back with some more, because I'm not close enough to the tracks there. I may want to get some ballast in there. I don't know. More ballast or more ground foam? Is it really? I haven't actually glued down the ballast yet either, which is not my normal way of doing things, but okay. Of course, in this stage, you want to make sure you don't breathe too hard on the ground foam, because it will, of course, move. I'm just going to take a little of that. Just kind of going over the edge here. Also, pick it up, tap it on there. There we go. All right. A little bit of isopropyl here, and we should be ready to put the glue on here. Grab my pipette. All right, so we've got now you don't need to super soak this with the isopropyl. You just need to come here and dribble some, because what I'm going to do is later I want to soak it with the glue. And that's actually way more important than the isopropyl. But the thing about the isopropyl is that it allows it to flow. So when you get a little bit of glue in there. Or I should say, when you get the isopropyl, you put the glue on top of it, of course, it lets the glue just flow all through the scenery. Which is what you want. Okay. Okay. Right now, right here, I'm watching the glue run down through the material I spilled over the edge on purpose. So that's just what I was looking for it to do. It's good to let it do it that way. I find that when you do that, it flows enough to glue down the material without leading it too much erosion. There we go. I haven't quite figured out what, or decided rather, I should say, I'm going to use for parking lot material over here in front of this area. Probably going to be styrene. Looks like I'll have to stick with small van deliveries, or maybe one long semi and shorter vehicles. But I'm not too concerned about that. I'm not giving the parking lot any more room than I have to. So I may buy some trucks that are like, you know, some box van type of things to go from there. Or maybe those Grumman delivery vehicles that that Wonder Bread used to use. That would be that might be kind of an interesting thing to use if I can find any of those. Okay, I think that's filling in pretty good. Still got to figure out that paint. I think I may try something with a hammered texture and then go over it with a flat black. I wanted to get at least the parking and truck door area for the Olympic food plant done here. So I've got some plastic. It's a styrene-like material that that my friend Jim salvaged from somewhere, and I'm going to use that, or try to use that, for the pavement in the parking area. Yet to determine exactly how I'm going to paint it. I've used some of this stuff before, and I painted it with Tamiya paints, and that worked out well. But I don't have a color that would work for asphalt. Plus, I want to give it some texture. I think the asphalt Woodland Scenics paint that I have probably isn't going to do the trick for this job, because it won't be a good material to put on styrene. Or I think this is styrene. It's not like the Evergreen or Plastruck styrene. It's close to that, but it's a little softer, just a little bit. Over at McClendon's, our local hardware store, I found this paint, this fine stone texture, or stone fine texture, and I put a little bit on there. You can see this is what it looks like with just the light coating here. And then I went over with Woodland Scenics asphalt top coat. You can see there's texture there. And then I also tried some black craft store paint. I actually like both of these, so I could totally see, you know, using a combination thereof in a project. So I think my test piece looks pretty good. I've let the black and then the asphalt top coat dry, I think they both look pretty good. Now I've got the bigger sheet and I'm going to start painting that. Okay, so right now, this, looks like all shiny and stuff, but this will dry, and when it does, it'll be flat. And it's kind of goofy that I'm doing this the way it is, but it's a big piece, and so the workbench isn't clear enough right now to do this. Just sad but true. I kind of like working at this height. Anyway, we're going to get this part down to the point where most of this is covered with the asphalt top coat, which I decided to go with. Even though the black is, just about as good. I just like the not completely black for this particular job. And let's see, so just gonna pour the paint out right onto the surface. On most jobs like this, you don't want to do that, but this one, it's not a bad plan. And then I might come back and dry brush over this with like a dark gray or something. I don't have any pan pastels, but I do have some Bragdon stuff used for weathering powders. So maybe I do that. Anyway, look at the camera and see how this looks. Yeah, it looks shiny and black right now, which is okay. And I think I'm going to pause the video, because you guys don't need to really watch me paint, but you can see you'll get to see the final result, or the next step anyway. And as I work towards a result, who knows how long that result will take. I may do this and decide that it isn't the right thing after all. Need to let this dry before I mess around with it some more, but you can see that the smaller part is in there. About to install the styrene base here for the Maine Olympic Foods building. I've drawn on the base here, on the plywood, where I want it to go. Since there is some wiggle room, I wanted to make sure I want it it gets where I really want it to be. Okay, that looks good. And then I'll come in with the fill-in piece on the left there. So I'm kind of working on the access road here for a few minutes. I was trying to decide how wide this styrene should be. And I bounced back and forth between 3 and 4 inches. 3 inches, 4 inches, I measured that van in the background. And I decided that I would split the difference and try 3.5 and make a cut. I'm kind of thinking this is gonna look good. I got a couple more locations I need to kind of smack it down onto around here and see how it works, like crossing the tracks over here, and I've already tried it behind Martin and Sons over there, and I think that's going to work out well. So I think it's wide enough for that. I talked about cutting mats before, but they are so handy for something like this. Much easier to get a straight cut. I'll have to do a curved section of road, and I'm working out that right now. put a light coat of the fine stone texture on this styrene, and that was before or after I cut it to fit where I think I need it, which is kind of up to the tracks here. And now I'm gluing it down, and then I'll come back with the asphalt top coat and paint over that. So yesterday I glued down the parking area for the Olympic Foods warehouse and office. And then I added a road. I did the same treatment with the fine stone texture and the asphalt top coat. I'm working on the crossing for the road over here. Let's see. I also did some scenery work along the edge and filling in down here. And making the area down here look a little bit better. This had been kind of cruddy looking down there. Let's fix that. I changed around the buildings a little bit. I had this flat that I built that was kind of a leftover from the Magic Pan kit. That building over there usually makes this huge building that won't fit in a lot of places, so I split it up and made two out of it, essentially. And so there's that. I'm gonna call that the cold storage. And then this these silos needed some work, so I did that. You really can't tell because it's pretty much all glue work. And I'm thinking I'm gonna paint that gray, a lighter gray than that building there. Deep breath. Let's see how we did. As my friend Tyler likes to say, 3-foot rule. Probably not the first person to utter those words, but see how it looks. You know, not perfect, but I think I'm pretty darn happy with that. I also installed some Rick's parking barriers. I think that looks pretty good. Now if I can just get that part of the building to sit right where I want it to be, the wires for the future lighting are kind of pushing it around at the moment. Let's take a little run with NP1254, which is a Paragon 3 equipped Broadway Limited locomotive. I'm told that they didn't actually have this locomotive, the NP didn't anyway, but in this case, I've only got one thing to say about that. Let's go. Hope you all enjoyed this episode. Until next time, take care and have fun with your trains.